Hello, tis me, Rose. I got my book. Book. Going to the beach. Nicki Minaj. I don't really have too much inspiration today. I was thinking maybe spikes. I like spikes and angular dealies and businesses. I was thinking of adding, okay, not that. I was thinking of adding spikes somewhere around here. So I guess we'll start that. Hopefully it turns out good. I'm a little nervous, but you know, it all works out in the end. I don't know how to. Let's start here. And we'll just see. We'll just see. It doesn't have to be crazy, you know. And you know, I guess I get nervous to start. Just start. Kind of with anything, really. But for this particular case, with this project, whenever I start, you know, I hit the play button and keep going, because what if I mess it up, you know? What if it doesn't turn out good? Because I assume a lot of other people, not everyone has this, but you know, I know a lot of people can struggle with it. But that perfectionist mentality, because I feel like with the spikes that I'm doing right now, I have to be on par with, you know, what are those thingamabobs called? Where you do those little pattern thingies. It's like, here, it's like a little template, right? And it has a little spinny thing, and you put your little pencil or pen or whatever, and you're like, and you keep going, and then when you're done with it, it makes like this perfect looking spherical, I forget what you call it. And maybe it doesn't have to be spherical, maybe it can be spiky looking. It just makes a shape, you know, after you keep doing all the little spinny dealies. And you know, I'm doing this stuff by hand. There's no way I don't have a template, you know? It's not gonna look mechanical or robotic and all that and stuff. And that's okay. By hand gives it that charm. I'm being a little wild, and I'm not turning my book. Cause you know, sometimes you be drawing stuff and you gotta turn it so it's easier for you to draw. I did a little error there, but no one's gonna know. Unless you remember what I just said. I Men in Black you. I actually perfectly did this by hand. No, it's okay. Let's go like that, like this. I must have Men in Blacked myself right now, because I just forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, by hand. And then the turning of the whatever. I actually really like that. I like that a lot. Look at that. I like that. I like it, Picasso. I don't know. I just wanted some interest with pointy things, because you know me, I like my angular pointy things. Ugh. Forgive me, my hair is all up in my face. Let's see. I think I'm gonna add some more leafy bits. Probably here, maybe to frame it up. Or maybe here. We'll do that just to fill it up, because that area in the top right, or can you see over here, has been asking for something. So let's do a thingamabob. What's a thingamabob, you might ask? It's a line, and I'm adding little leafies. this corner, I'll add another line with more leafy dealies. It's a little difficult. Drawing at the corner of pages is so hard. I'm just like, cause then, you know, let me show you. I have to show you this so you know what I'm talking about. And I'm sure if you've had books and pages and things like that, you know what I'm talking about. But, so you see how the page is going at an angle? That means that the other pages are visible for my pen to write on. So if you're not careful, you can write on the next page, which fortunately I did not. I've learned from my mistakes. But something, you know, you gotta make the mistake to learn, or some gobbledygook, you know. It's good gobbledygook though. Oh, I have an idea. Mr. Krabs, I have an idea. Y'all remember that? It's not gonna really be seen too much because the design is very human. The design is being covered, but you know, just something to make it like, oh, whoa, that's crazy, I didn't think of that. And then, oh yeah, I'm gonna do another spiky thing, but instead of leaving it white, I'm gonna fill it in with black. Yes indeed, that's how I feel like I want to do the thing, so I'm gonna do the thing. Maybe it'll look a little odd, but that's okay. It's just interest. You want interest. And the shape I'm doing it on is a lot more organic than the circles I was going around. Duh! My hair is hair in my mouth, hair in my nose, hair in my ears. What's happening? Beef squash. Give me beef squash. I don't know why that made me think of beef squash. It actually should make me think of Bob's Burgers. The one, I think it was like, what's it called? The kids were coming up with scenarios of like if Bob and Linda met, I don't know, like in different universes, and it was like, I think it was kind of a reference to Big. What was it? But it's like, instead of being an adult, Bob wanted to have hair, and then he was like too hairy, and then Linda was shaving him, and then she turned away to like clean it off or something, and she turned back and he was hairy all over again, like all over his body. I should have thought of that instead of being like, beef squash, give me beef squash. Though, to be fair, beef squash is hairy, but he's also burgery. Yo, crazy, let me tell y'all, I actually have kind of been in the mood for a burger. The meat saya. Yo, I keep referencing Bob's Burgers. The meat saya. Your father's working very hard. Y'all remember the meat saya? If you don't watch Bob's Burgers, I recommend it. It's a very silly show. The earlier seasons definitely are different from the newer seasons, I'll tell you that. They really toned down characters like Louise. Though, I don't know, I don't think it's bad necessarily. I don't know, what's that, it's like flanderized, is that the term? Where it's like a character gets, this happened to Cosmo and Patrick, where they just get boiled down to like one characteristic about them, and then that's all they are eventually, which is like, for Cosmo and Patrick, they're just like dumb and stupid. Are you just play dumb or stupid. Where's that from? I give you brownie points if you know what I'm referencing, because I don't even remember it myself. There's things that I'll just like say that I don't even remember that it was a reference, but my brain in the back, in the crevices of my mind is like, this is a reference, and I'm gonna say it right now. Like, I don't know what happened, which also makes me think of, I never had an original life experience. I never had an original thought that I like saying that people be saying. But there was just a time where I was like, Gungaga. And I thought Gungaga was original in my head, but it's not at all. It's from like Final Fantasy. And like this guy, he's like, oh, like where do you live? He's like, oh, this place. And he's like, oh, like what, that's crazy. And then he's like asking the dude that's like, what, that's crazy, like where do you live? He's like, me, Gungaga. And that's like a big thing, I would assume, in that community. I'm not really too into that community. Maybe I just really know the memes. I don't know. Maybe I'd get into Final Fantasy one day. See, you know, I feel like me personally, I'm not often into RPGs, or maybe like JRPGs, just RPG. Doesn't matter if it's like J or not. JG Whitworth. 877 cash now. 877 cash now. Now let's see. We'll just fill it in black right there, because it's kind of a blob there. All right, just a little interesting. Just a little whoa. So I added, where is it? Oh, I added the black spikes right there. And it looks a little odd, but the point is that you want more detail. The more detail, the better, you know? Which, to that, I want to add something else around here, but I have to sit on it. Yes! Sit on it! Ding! That's a Steve Harvey. And then I saw like this, I guess, cosplay. It was like this lady, and she dressed up as Steve Harvey, and then like she was like, yeah, and then she did like a split. It was so funny. I just went on a whole digress. Don't even remember much of what I was talking about, but maybe I'll go back. Well, I was talking about RPGs, so I'll talk about that. I would say oftentimes I'm not really like an RPG kind of person, but I still think I am, like, because okay, now I gotta stop what I'm doing to talk to y'all about this. And it's okay too, you know. For the creative process, sometimes you gotta take a break, and let it stew in your head. Let it cook, marinate, flambe, sous vide in your head. Unrelated, if you hear anything in the background, I'm listening to someone stream. It's Comet Core. If you know about them, shout out to you if you know Comet. Anyway, with RPGs, I would say I don't particularly go out of my way to play RPGs. And I believe Final Fantasy is in RPG category. But there's, I think, another Final Fantasy where there's like a multiplayer aspect, and maybe that's less RPG related. But you know, I've played things like, though I don't think it's necessarily RPG, because there's Mario RPG if I remember. But like, you know, you got Mario. In my head, it's like role-playing game, you know? You're role-playing as someone in my head. But there's probably like strict guidelines as to what makes an RPG an RPG. But anyway, what I think is RPG in my head. It's like, you know, you got like the Marios and the Legend of Zelda. Just you're playing as someone and following the storyline. Though I think RPGs have a lot of like grind aspect to it. You're like leveling up characters. And I don't know if you're necessarily leveling up a character. So then if that's the case, then there's like a whole bunch of like RPGs if I'm like doing it by my thought process. Like if I want to get rid of like the genre title of like what is an RPG, you know? It's just a certain thing where I don't like when I'm playing a game and I can't explore necessarily, or there's areas where I just have to, I'm forced into a fight. I want to have the option to avoid the fight, skip the fight, whatever, and even come back to it if I want to. I really like exploring in video games. Don't get me wrong, I like my combat, but I prefer as well real-time combat, I suppose. I'm not too much into strategy games. Like it took me a while to get into Pokemon because I didn't like that you had to, oh, I choose this move, I wait, and then it's their turn. Okay, they did this and that. Like I'm into Pokemon now. That's for other reasons. I don't know if I talked about it before. I think I did because it was like Pixel and stuff like that. But when you go through that and you pick apart the game and you kind of boil it down to just game mechanics in that aspect, and it loses its personality, when you purposely make it lose its personality to see, oh, what is like the aspect of the game that I like or don't like. I don't like being forced into combat or like battles, and then in my head it'll take long because there's like a wait aspect of turn-based combat. Turn-based combat isn't necessarily my tea, but I still will play games that have turn-based combat if I like it enough. There too as win for as the example of Pokemon. But yeah, and then the back to the grind aspect, you know, I don't mind grinding in games to a certain extent, you know. If the whole point of the game is to just grind, like you have to keep up with the game by grinding for hours, that sucks the fun out of the game for me personally. But then why do I play certain games? Like, you know, I'm playing Infinity Nikki right now, and you could argue that that game is very grindy because you need to grind to save up pulls so that you can gamble. That's another thing too. Like gambling, that's a whole other conversation for now. I don't know. Maybe we'll hold off on that. But there's just a huge grind aspect. The other thing too, I don't know how to describe this, so bear with me as I explain this thought process. Games nowadays have figured out a way to make every aspect of the game grindy, and that PMO, TBH, that PMO. Why does it have to be that way? You know, why is it? Well, let's use Infinity Nikki as the example. I still like the game. You know, I like dressing up. I just like to dress up. I love fashion. I love style. Shout out to Style Savvy. I love you, Style Savvy. Man, I love Style Savvy. Anyway, I love dressing up. I love exploring. You can explore a lot in the game. But there's grind elements where it's like you have to get these things daily if you want to, of course. You know, it's your choice at the end of the day if you want to grind or not. However, they have grind aspects, and then they also have FOMO aspects, fear of missing out, if you don't know what FOMO means. Because I a while ago didn't know what FOMO means. I'm like, I don't know. And I had to guess, and then I looked it up, you know. There's your new learn of the day thing if you didn't know. But when you combine those two together, for certain brains, it just doesn't bode well for your brain. And I feel like for me, that could not bode well. Because it's also like a time constraint as well. They add time constraints. It's all these different things where you combine it together, and it just, when you pick apart the game, how I was saying, when you strip it of its personality and you see the mechanics, it's just like, oh wow, that's really what it's boiled down to. That's kind of a shame. But yeah, not that it's like, oh, you know, this game sucks, never play it ever. And this is, again, a whole other topic along those lines, with boycotting and the like, and devs versus companies, and you know, the consumers not being listened to. But yeah, I still like the games, you know, but it's not that I can't have my critiques. Yeah, no. Like with Style Savvy, love that game. If no one got me, I know Style Savvy got me. Can I get an amen? Amen. Man, I really hope that Style Savvy is revitalized, and not that like new one where it's like influencer. Like I need the charm of old games brought back. I just need people to, like, you know what, like, let's just do that for the fun of it, for the whimsy of it, because why not? And if it catches on, great. And if it doesn't catch on, well, you know, the people that appreciate it have their niche fulfilled. Everyone wins, I would like to think. Idealism. I digress. You know, I really be like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna talk about for this video, and then I'm like, no, like, okay, I guess we can get back to drawing. So there's like aspects to RPG that I do appreciate. Like I love me a good story, you know. I like to follow along to stories, but along with that, additionally as well too, I also like to self-insert into like stories. So if there's like customization, oh, I love customization. Which I think is partly why like Nikki got me, Infinity Nikki, because I can customize my character. Although maybe not to the extremes like how other character customizations have. I can still do some. If you can even give me the option to like choose like this outfit preset or this outfit preset, you know, it's better than nothing in my head. But yeah, it's just like, if I'm gonna role play as this character, I want to be able to maybe feel like I resonate enough with the character to then feel like I am the character. Because it's not like I can never enjoy an RPG and things like of the like and all that. I don't know if Fire Emblem counts as an RPG. I know there's like it's a strategy game as well, if it's like, you know, multiple thingamabobs going on there. I did try one of their games. Maybe it's not my cup of tea, because again, I'm not too into strategy games. It can be nice, you know, I like my puzzles and thinking, but it goes back to that, well, I'm not a fan of being forced into a fight if I don't want to. If I just want to advance the story, I would just like to advance the story. And then let me suffer with being underleveled if I want to, you know? I'll go back and do the things that I have to do. Sorry, I gotta lock in. And let me do at least one more little leafy vine. Oh no. Oh no, did I do it? No, I didn't. We're safe, y'all. We're safe. I thought I did that issue that I explained earlier where I drew on another page, but it's okay. We lived. What else? I want to add more spikes, but I'm not too sure where. Honestly, maybe I could do it here. In this area where I was like, I need to add more. But I think I need to add some black, but I'm not sure where. You know what? Let's add the black spikes there. For the heck of it. Why the frick not? Who says I can't? Anyway, I say these things not as a an absolute, like I will always hate RPG games and I will never play an RPG game. You know, I have my preferences, and sometimes an RPG can just hit that itch in my can scratch that itch in my brain, and sometimes it won't. And the other aspect too is art style, design, the art direction that they take. I really think style matters. It says something. Yeah, I'm happy with this spike decision. I just, I really needed to prioritize spikes today. No way, spike for My Little Pony? Friendship is magic? Shout out to you if you watch My Little Pony. Friendship is magic, to be specifics. I need to get back into watching that. I was watching it for a time, consistently, back to back to back episodes, because they're short. It's a kid's show, they gotta have it short, and cartoons in general have short episodes. I don't know, I remember watching it as a kid and enjoying it. Oh my gosh, I remember for a time I used to consider myself a brony. I don't know why. I never considered myself a Pegasister. I don't know. There was like. Now I'm just thinking. I guess because when I was a kid, I won't say everyone, but if you grew up femme, I suppose, me personally, I'll explain my experience. But growing up as a woman, she will never be worth anything. Sorry, that's a reference. There was a time where I felt very tomboyish. So I rejected girly things, and so I assumed at that time it was like, oh, I don't want to be a Pegasister because it's like, oh, it's too girly. I want to be a brony, like, I don't know. But I think it's okay. I appreciate girly things nowadays, and it really doesn't matter. You like what you like. Free will and all that. The spike is a little thick, that's okay. Here come the men in black. They won't let you remember. Here come the men in black, men in black. Won't let you remember. Now I want to watch Men in Black. I like the color black. It's a good color. Though I guess maybe some people wouldn't consider it a color, they consider it a shade. Either way, I like it. I just like black. And anyway, here's the thingamabob. I like it. Now I feel like I need some other spikes to kind of maybe balance it out. I got the white spikes and the black spikes and the black spikes. Maybe a white spikes would be nice. Anyway, back to the whole tomboy thing. I just, I feel like as as like kids growing up, and then you go into like teenager ages, a whole bunch of things happen. So it's like you may struggle a lot with ideologies, and you know, you're getting into this, but now you're not getting into this, and this conflicts with that and all that. So I don't know. It's also like a pendulum swinging as well, where when I was a little girl, I really enjoyed like girly things. It's a lot of like gendered things tied to. Anyway, I just really enjoyed like dolls and frills and lace and dresses and sparkles and things. And then it was like, no, I want like, I don't even know, tomboy, I guess the stereotypical like tomboy things. I just like try to be mindful, because I recognize that not everyone would have like the same experience as I would, but this is just my experience. Yeah. Now let's see, where do we want the spiky dealies? There's not really anything where I can put spikes, so I think the thing is we gotta make something to put spikes on. Now that is a good question. What would we do? I don't know. Let's add a. I really like this. I don't know. What I'm looking at is the like eye thingy with the like black spikes that I first did. How about we just sit? We just sit for a moment and we see how we feel. And if we're done, we're done. And I'll just keep talking, you know? It's chill vibes in this corner of this space. But yeah, here come the men in black, galaxy defenders. But yeah, I just, for myself personally, me, in my experience, I think a lot of it with that pendulum swinging violently, I would say. Maybe not violently, drastically. I felt like growing up, even now, I feel like I still hold this mentality of black and white, yes or no, good, evil mentality, where it's either one or the other. And it's like, oh, like, well, now I'm starting to have these feelings, and I'm not really liking girly things anymore, or pink anymore, because pink used to be my favorite color. Actually, when I was really young, I remember I like drew this mermaid. It was me, and I had green hair. So I think that was always a sign that green was my favorite color. But I did like pink, and I still like pink now, you know. I like all the colors. They all look nice together. But green is my jam. But when I was younger, I don't know if I don't remember too much being like a pink hater, but I think I definitely rebuked thee because I wanted to reject, I guess, being a girl and what was seen as like being a girl. Obviously, it's not, you know, the binary. It is just a whole encompassing of what it means to be this or that or the third, you know. But with that in mind, I did reject it at the time, thinking that I wanted to be more cool and things like that, and I didn't want to be frilly and girly, and it's not that frilly and girly isn't cool, you know. It's two truths, you know. You can be frilly girly and you can be cool. Hey, you know, I may be blowing your mind here, and you know, some people already believe this, you know, like join the club, get with the program type shit. I don't know, I'm just waffling, have all these different thoughts, and I hope that you pick up what I'm putting down, because again, I don't have no script, you know. The only script that I got here is this, and the script ain't even written out fully. Can't think of anything, but I will say I really like this. Maybe I'll do something like that. somewhere else. I just gotta figure out where to put it, is the thing. I don't know. But thank you for like sticking with me through this whole journey here, you know? Art really is a journey. You know, it takes as long as it takes, and you appreciate as you're making it. You know, sometimes you just gotta slow down. Slow it down. Here come Madam Light. Galaxy of Thunder. I am rather hungry, rather peckish. I don't know. There wasn't much done here today, but I got to talk to y'all. And I was glad I was able to talk to y'all. That's okay. Some days, you know, it's just a bit of an art block. I don't know if I'd even consider this an art block. Maybe it is, you know. Whatever. We'll beat it up like in Bob's Burgers. Louise does a double punch. She was like, like that was so silly, so stupid in a fun, silly way. Man, I'm thinking I do want to add something here. You know what? For the heck of it, we will add another flower. And I'll probably leave y'all with that. Oh yeah. Yeah, I have an idea actually. So I'm gonna do the flower and I'm gonna do like a little wraparound vine thing. Oh, this is gonna be a little difficult. Writing in reverse ray is difficult. Yeah, that's gumball. You know, back to that whole, oh, I've never had an original thought or an original experience in my life. I understand the sentiment, you know, you want to feel special, original, and all that. Not like everyone else. But I think there's also something comforting to find in knowing that someone else experienced the exact same thing that you experienced. Because humans, at the end of the day, are social creatures. And if you felt like no one understood you, you know, because I feel like at the end of the day, humans want to be understood. You know, you want to be understood. You want to relate to someone. But again, two truths, you also want to feel like an individual and special. And I don't think that's bad. Yo, unrelated, y'all ever get like, I don't know if this happens to y'all. I can't even figure out how to describe it. But like sometimes when I'm drawing, I guess, or maybe even writing, I think I notice it more when I'm drawing. My eyes focus so hard that I can't even imitate it. But it's like, I don't even know if like the camera caught it, but it's like your eyes, they go like really fast. And it just stops for me after a little, like a second. And it's like, whoa, why'd that happen? How'd that happen? See, so with that example, I'm sure others have the same experience. But if no one were to have that experience, I may feel a little isolated. You know, no one understands what I'm talking about. And you know, not everyone or not anyone has to understand what you're talking about. You just have to come to terms with that on your own. But it is nice, again, to be understood by people. I don't know how big I want to make this flower. But yeah, that eye twitch thing, it just happened to me just now. Well, not just now, but you know, when is soon? Wait, No, wait. I just like completely messed it up. But I was watching Spaceballs recently, and there's a part in that movie where it's like they're watching the movie in the movie, and then it goes to them like being recorded live, and they're like, and it's like, oh, what's happening now? When is it happening? Just now. When did it happen? You just missed it. When is it gonna be now? And then it's like, well, when is gonna be like whatever? And it's like soon. If you can watch that clip, like I'm not giving that scene justice. It's so silly. I think I may leave it this size and damn. Do that wraparound vine thingamabob. I actually probably should have kept it smaller, but I wasn't really thinking too much. I was talking about whatever it was I was talking about. Cause what you got is what we need, and all we do is dirty deeds. Cause we're the Spaceballs. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just a little moment of silence. It just, my eyes just did it. Okay, see, it like my eyes just went like it's happened so fast. I can't even, I can't recreate it naturally or on command, I suppose. Watch out, cause we're the Spaceballs. These leaves may be a little busted, but that's okay. It's you know, the hand drawn charm, as they say. Who is they? Do they even say that actually? I don't know. I personally would think that hand drawn has a certain charm to it, you know? Because I feel like at certain times you can see visibly the brushstrokes that, whoops, made a little mistake. That's okay. Hand drawn charm. You can see like little mistakes, and then you can see like the brushstrokes of people and like what they did. Anyway, I did that corner. So now it's a little fuller there, you know. We got a little something going on there, and I really want to recreate that. Maybe do some more triangles. I'm getting more ideas, but I'll probably leave it off with that. I don't know. I'm hungry, and I want to do other stuff. But I'm glad I was able to talk to y'all. It was nice. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. Goodbye. Good night, good day, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, even night. Be easy on yourself as usual. Things take time and all that good stuff. Two truths is a thing. Yeah, anyway, goodbye. Get out of here. Get out of here.